One of the first to really prove you are what you eat. Dr. Andrew Weil, come join us. Thank you very much for being here.
Sure.
So Dr. Weil is iconic in medicine, especially when I was in medical school and residency, and I was trying to see who's out there in the vanguard of changing our thoughts about, in particular, food in our lives. You were there. So what's the problem with the all-American diet? The ones, the fast food so many of us get addicted to.
The mainstream diet gives us the wrong kinds of fats. It gives us the wrong kinds of carbohydrates that quickly digest, raise blood sugar, which promotes inflammation. It does not give us enough of the protective elements, which are mostly found in fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices.
So when you offer an anti-inflammation diet, which is what you speak so beautifully about, what is the essence of it, and why does it specifically prevent against cancer?
The anti-inflammatory diet that I developed is based on the Mediterranean diet. We have overwhelming evidence that the Mediterranean diet is the one that has the strongest correlation with overall health and longevity.
So it sounds great, doesn't it? Eat differently, and maybe you can make a difference in chance of getting cancer, a problem that all of us fear so deeply in our souls. Come on over here. Let's talk about how much of an impact it could really have in your life. And I want you to see these numbers because you'll recognize this is not just a little nudge for the chance of getting cancer. First off, if you eat anti-inflammatory foods, it affects colorectal cancer. Why, and which ones?
Well, adding cruciferous vegetables, this is the cabbage family vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, collard greens, all of that. Adding those to the diet can actually lower risk of colorectal cancer by 18%.
It's a big difference, 1 in 5. How about breast cancer? Again, so common in women.
Breast cancer, I think using whole soy foods, this can reduce breast cancer risk by 30%.
You guys impressed with these numbers? Isn't this crazy? So many women walking around fearful of an ailment, and of course we're encouraging the screening and all the other things, but to realize that food can impact it in a material way. Specifically, I'm saying that people who eat these foods seem to have less of these cancers around the world, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're bringing this to light because we often ignore the power of that.
It's also what we don't eat.
But before you get to that, I have one more. I'm going to get to that.
Sure.
But let me put the last one up here, which is gastric cancer, because then I'm going to turn to your point. So gastric cancer, it also makes an impact.
Tomatoes and tomato products can reduce risk of gastric cancer by 27%.
All right. So now we know the power of food.
Right.
Show us the negative influence, the Western diet specifically.
That can increase cancer risk by up to 200%.
Unbelievable. So Dr. Weil created a food pyramid, which we have taken the liberty of actually recreating. This is, for the first time, the anti-inflammatory cancer-fighting food pyramid. You like our artwork?
You did a beautiful job here. This is beautiful.
So explain to everybody why this is different from the traditional food pyramid we all grew up with learning in
First
school.
of all, the standard food pyramid, the one that we learned in school and that the USDA puts out, the base of it is grains and bread, loads of bread down there. I don't think that's wise. Those are pro-inflammatory carbohydrates. Also, animal foods figure very heavily in the standard pyramid, and many more servings of dairy than I would allow in my pyramid.
So meaningful differences, and there are a lot of folks, I think, Dr. Weil, who are in your camp now. So let's go through this in detail. I want people to know this stuff. First, fruits and veggies. They're the bottom. They're the foundation. Beans, pasta, grains. You do allow some grains. I
allow grains, but grains in whole form as opposed to flour.
All right, so you can get away with some of this stuff. You don't have to run away from it. It just shouldn't be the foundation of your diet. You have fish next up, and you have salmon in particular.
Salmon, because it's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, and this is something we want more of. They reduce inflammation. You can also get this from sardines.
Are you worried about toxins in fish?
Absolutely, and I think you have to do your homework here. There's a very good website. It's seafoodwatch.org. This is put out by the Monterey Aquarium. They have wallet cards. They rate fish both in terms of sustainability and toxicity. And it's a very good guide to have with you when you go shopping for fish.
You don't ban meats. A lot of people think you're a vegetarian.
No, I am not. I personally only eat fish and vegetables, but I think moderate amounts of animal protein are fine, but these should be up higher on the pyramid, not low down on the pyramid.
Herbs and spices you call out in particular?
Yeah, I think that these are the more varied kinds of herbs and spices you include in the diet, the better, because these have unique protective compounds in it. Up here we have ginger and turmeric, very powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Garlic, one of my favorites. I can't imagine life without garlic.
Now we're going to turn to why everyone loves Dr. Andrew Weil. Look what he's got at the very top here. He's got red wine and chocolate. So What is it about these that make them acceptable to you?
Both red wine and chocolate are very powerful sources of antioxidants. It's the pigments in red wine, there are compounds in chocolate and also in tea, that these are related, highly protective antioxidant compounds.
You know, I tell you, this is really good.
This is also a recipe from the book. They're called ridiculously good triple chocolate brownies.
Oh gosh, they are ridiculously
made
good.
with chopped dark chocolate, and it uses olive oil instead of butter, and some almond flour. And these are, I think, really good.
You know, I really feel guilty about not sharing the salmon with the audience. So, as we go to break, I'm going to walk this over to you guys, but hold back for 1 second. When we come back, quick and easy recipes from Dr. Weil. They're on drwiles.com, and we're going to talk about his book when we come back as well, because he's sticking around. It's the supermarket staples Dr. Weil can't live without. Who wants these? We'll be right back. Come on over. Weil is here today, and he's keeping it local. He's taking you to his neighborhood grocery store to show you the supermarket staples he cannot live without.
I've been all over the world and have shopped for food in many different places. I have to say there's nothing like an all-American supermarket. I love walking into the fresh fruit and vegetable aisle. I'm very happy to see an organic produce section. These are becoming more common in supermarkets. I see some wonderful loose carrots here. Carrots, by the way, should never come from a can or be frozen. You want them fresh like this. Here's some organic baby broccoli, sweet broccoli. This is a new vegetable, has stems that taste like asparagus. This is a wonderful assortment of fresh herbs. Bay leaves, basil, chives, dill, mint, marjoram, rosemary. This is terrific. I'm a big fan of berries, which are great sources of antioxidants, fiber. These are organic strawberries. They smell good. I'm sure they're going to taste great. The canned food aisle is also on my grocery list. One of my favorites is kipper snacks. This is smoked herring packed in water. These are cheap, wonderful source of omega-3 fatty acids. Taste good. I mash them up with mustard, onion, and lemon. You know, there's a common belief that frozen fruits and vegetables lose a lot of their nutritional value, but actually some varieties of frozen corn are very good. Also, some frozen fruits are very good quality. Blackberries, here's a berry blend. So I would keep all of those in my freezer. There's lots of traps at the checkout counter, a lot of things that you don't need. But there is one thing I do pick up.
Dr. Weil's new book is called Fast Food, Good Food, and every ingredient in his book, it's a handsome picture of you, by the way, can be found in the grocery store. You actually brought your shopping list.
I did.
You have very neat writing for a doctor, don't you think? It's a sign of a sick mind. So how difficult is it to eat healthy on a budget?
You know, what are the most expensive foods that you find in the market? It's animal foods, it's meat. Dairy products. So if you're cutting down on those, you have more money to spend on fruits and vegetables, which are the bottom of the pyramid. Beans, wonderful source of protein, slow digesting carbohydrate, very inexpensive. You know, whole grains, generally very inexpensive.
Now, you spend a lot of time trying to offer recipes and ideas
Yes.
that can be made in a short period of time.
Yeah,
that's the big obstacle that folks always complain
absolutely.
about.
The main complaint that I hear from people is they don't have time to cook. They want recipes that can be made very simply. A lot of the recipes in this new book can be made in 30 minutes or less. And the ingredients are familiar ingredients, and the ones that are a little odd, I tell you where to get them online.
All right, come on back here. Today, Dr. Weil is going to reveal the supermarket staples he cannot live without. These are not things that we normally talk about, so I'm curious about, because you're always on the cutting edge of this stuff. It's
Okay.
a little bit ahead of everybody else. And all of these, we checked, can be found in your local grocery store. So I don't want any complaining. He's telling you less than 30 minutes, and they taste good, I can guarantee that, but it's also affordable. Okay, grapeseed oil. Why grapeseed oil?
Grapeseed oil has a neutral taste and a high smoke point, so it's safer to cook with at higher temperatures. I mostly use olive oil.
It's like cognac. No.
I mostly use olive oil, but you know, if I'm cooking something like something Asian where I don't want the flavor of olive oil, I use grapeseed oil.
Next, cashew milk. And we've talked about almond milk a lot on the
Yes,
show.
right.
There's lots of alternatives to dairy. I've not talked about cashew milk.
No, this is my favorite non-dairy alternative. It's got a
It's your
rich,
favorite?
Yeah, it's got a rich taste. I use it as the base of cream soups and frozen desserts. I make my own. It's very easy to do. You buy raw cashews, grind them in a blender, fine, add cold water, blend at high speed. That's it. You can flavor it with a little maple syrup or...
You know, I want to find out what people really think about cashew milk. Now, I don't want any polite people up there. Dr. Weil's a doctor. He can take the criticism if you don't like his suggestions. Again, we know he can use this in many meals. Go ahead and give that a taste, see what you guys think. And I want some, here, hold that and pass it along if you don't mind. I want some honest opinions here. What do you guys think?
Nice.
No, that's all you have to say, nice?
It has no flavor.
No flavor,
Yeah.
so it's just bland.
Bland.
So he's not looking for bland, he's looking for the opposite. He's looking for...
It's nice.
Actually, I like it. I find that I drink the almond milk often.
Yeah.
But this is pretty good.
It's pretty good. And if you use this in a cream soup, nobody will ever know it doesn't have cream in it.
Yeah,
Have you thought of a better word than bland yet?
Neutral.
Neutral.
You know what? It's rich to me, doesn't it? Taste like it's got
It
some
has a
fullness.
rich taste, and it's got actually fewer calories than skim milk. So this is a good...
It does?
Yes, and it's a healthy fat.
Yeah, you see, oh, now they're in. All right, maple syrup.
Well, that's my favorite sweetener. I love the flavor of maple. The other reason I like it is maple syrup has the lowest content of fructose of any of the common sweeteners.
All right, now this, on the other hand, looks like it's going to taste and look good.
This is cashew scream.
Scream?
Scream. Like I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. But this is not made with dairy, this is made with cashew milk. And very simple, you blend cashew milk with frozen fruit, add maple syrup as a sweetener.
Keep going.
You don't want bland, right?
Now, let's just find out. And the word you use to describe it, I'm just going to use the word. She just whispered in my ear, cold. Is that the best you can do for Dr. Weil?
Delicious.
Delicious. We got it delicious.
Right.
That is something special.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.